Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Well, with Deadpool 2 having hit theaters about a month ago, I decided to pick up and play through Deadpool, a game that's been sitting in my Steam library. Now, since I've gotten this, it has been pulled off of Steam, unfortunately, due to the licenses with Marvel being expired. However, this game does exist in hard copy for both the Xbox One and PS4, so you can find them at GameStop easy enough, usually around $20, which is an okay price for this game. I guess I'll get into that towards the end of my review. And after playing this, does this game any good, or is it like a lot of Deadpool's sense of humor? The joke is completely on the audience. Let's find out. The story is the most out there thing in this game, and from what I've read of the comics, which is only a few issues, it does really fit Deadpool. For the few of you out there who don't know who Deadpool is, basically he was a mercenary who had cancer, so he went into some super special weapon program where he was granted Wolverine's healing factor. This keeps him from dying of the cancer, but he still has it, and it's affected his brain. So much that he now knows he's not a real person, but a comic book character, or in this case, a comic book character that is in a video game. Because of this, he can break the fourth wall by threatening the game developers or his own VA.
Not gonna pretend I understand any of it, but the answer is no. We're gonna pass on your big game idea.
What? He said no? That was our chance to be in our own video game.
Maybe we shouldn't have written the proposal in crayon. Relax. You know he's gonna call back.
Oh yeah, because of the...
Deadpool!
Also, since the character is experiencing the pain that the cancer brings and the psychosis that comes with finding out he's not real, he just wants to die, but the healing factor also makes him practically immortal, and he finds out that that's the one thing he can't do, so much to the point that he even has fallen in love with death herself. So how does he get past all of this? By just acting completely insane and being a general smartass. And while existing in a comic book universe that basically has all its heroes trying to live up to high ideals, it's kind of ironic contrasting that to Deadpool, who really has none. So, what is this game about? Well, Deadpool wants to make a game, but he was too lazy to actually read the script. Doesn't matter anyways. After taking a deal to assassinate a rich billionaire, he runs afoul of Simon Sinister and must help the X-Men storm Simon's compound in Genosha. Throw in Cable and a buttload of clones, and you get the basics of the story. While the overall plot isn't anything special, after all, Deadpool didn't even bother to read the script, the humor and the jokes in it are really top-notch. Having a game whose character lets you know he thinks you suck at the game when he gets injured is funny.
It's your fault, noob.
Not to mention all these other little jokes and jabs at the industry, like having a Call of Duty section, or when he decides to blow all of the developers' money, have him get stuck in an old 8-bit overhead action-adventure game for a little while are really funny gags. And then, of course, there are plenty of areas where Deadpool is just acting like, well, Deadpool. And I can't say any game where you can bitch slap an unconscious Wolverine is definitely worth getting.
Why won't you wake up? Wake up! That's because the player keeps mashing the button.
The gameplay in this game is a little bit on the standard side, unfortunately. If you have played any of the Batman Arkham Asylum games, you should now know the basics of Deadpool. You got a light attack, you got a heavy attack, you also have to have moves to break enemies' blocks, and of course you have the all-important counter. The combat, for the most part, is exactly like Batman. That said, Deadpool does just a little bit to distinguish itself in two areas. First, we have Deadpool's ability to wield several weapons. His basic katanas, which are kind of default, do good damage and have decent speed. But he has scythes, which are crazy fast, but don't do much damage, but you can sure rank up the combos for extra experience if you choose to use these, and the hammers, which are super slow, but also deal out a lot of punishment. The higher you get with the combos, the higher the experience bonuses you can get. If you manage to finish them off without getting hit, you can use these points to upgrade the items in Deadpool himself. Then, of course, Deadpool is also packing heat. You have pistols, shotguns, machine guns, and some sort of futuristic gun that Cable has given him. The nice thing is each gun is good for different situations. Pistols are good at aiming for more precise shots, shotguns are good for bigger foes, machine guns are good for crowd control, and Cable gun is good at keeping enemies at a distance. You can also get EXP to buy upgrades for these too, and some useful strategy from changing from guns to weapons in this game is actually fun and works really well. Throw in a few momentum moves that can be built up and used in desperate situations, and you got a solid if by the books combat system. The game also does throw in some platforming from time to time, and is for the most part pretty solid and fairly fun. Oftentimes when they just throw in platforming on these games, it comes out as more frustrating than fun. The controls still work fairly well from jumping from platform to platform, so overall they're nice additions when you encounter them rather than being more frustrating. Also throw in a few moments where the game decides to alter itself because, like I said, it's Deadpool, and he feels like mocking something. So there are bonus stages that mimic Call of Duty, Zelda, and even classic Prince of Persia. So where does it go wrong with Deadpool? Well, like a lot of action games like this, the last stage or two decides the only way it can provide itself a good challenge at the last moment is throw everything at you, including the kitchen sink. This gets old after a while, and instead of making the final stage feel like it's a final part of a trek up a mountain, it feels like a chore and an amazing grind. You can only handle so many exploding gambits before you say screw it. To say I was glad to see the final level over just because I was getting frustrated with it was an understatement. Even if the final boss battle is a bit more of a gag that's on us, the player, than an actual final boss battle, I was still just glad to have it done because I was getting tired. Overall, I can say I had some fun with this game, but it's not the most remarkable superhero game I've ever played. It certainly isn't going to be knocking off Batman Arkham City as my favorite superhero game anytime soon. The graphics in this game are actually pretty good. The sets and the environment are good, from Deadpool's rundown apartment to a skyrise, and even the Genosian environments do look distinguished. What I found most impressive was how they do damage to Deadpool. Deadpool has a healing factor, but his suit really doesn't have that, so we get to see his wounds as enemies shoot through him or try to hack him up, and then when it kicks in, we see the damage disappear, leaving some of his suit shut up that also slowly regenerates over time if no more damage is taken. And I kind of find that graphic technique sort of charming, sort of unique, and it helped really heighten the experience in the game, even if it was just a small thing. Camera, for the most part, was pretty good. Let me see the action okay. One or two times where I had a hiccup or two. But overall, the graphics in this game, for being about 5 years old, are pretty good. Music isn't very remarkable in this game, but you do have Nolan North doing the voice of Deadpool, and he does a great job with this character and his multiple personalities going on in his head and getting the comedy just right. So I didn't have any problems keeping the sound up in this game. Now, Deadpool, the video game, is extremely funny, and it uses the character and the license well. I love the fourth wall breaks, I love the stabs at other video games, and I just love the fact that Deadpool can be plain crazy sometimes.
Another friend request from Ryan? Doesn't this guy ever get the hint? How do I update my status to...
And the humor knows how to be dark and macabre without crossing the line much. There are a few times. So overall, when it comes to the presentation, I love the game. Gameplay-wise, is a little bare bones. If you've played the Batman Arkham games, you've played a lot of Deadpool, basically. A few new ideas here and there are sprinkled in, but overall, it's very similar to the Batman Arkham games. So it basically comes around if you like Deadpool the character. If you like Deadpool, you like his sense of humor, you like some of the dark and macabre stuff he brings to the table, then definitely think about picking it up. If you're not a fan of the character, there's not going to be anything here really to engage you. It's not terrible, but it's not great, and you probably should think about passing on this. Now, for a hard copy of the game, it runs $20 used at GameStop. Not a terrible price, but if you can find a place to get it $5 or $10 cheaper than that, I would definitely recommend it. Like I said, gameplay wise is a bit shallow, a bit more on the Batman Arkham style. So if you can find it a bit cheaper than $20, I would certainly recommend. I paid $8 for it on its very last Steam sale before being pulled, and I think I got my money's worth, but I just don't know if I would pay $20 for a used copy. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master thanking you for watching. I'll see you later. You guys have a nice day.